All right, guys. So yesterday we learned how to rewrite our integers to start adding and subtracting. And so now we're going to look at what adding and subtracting looks like on number lines. All right. So we have our example here on the front cover of our notes. It says -5 plus 4. So we're going to start with that strategy we learned yesterday, where we start from the back of the number and we're going to circle to the back of the next number. So I'm going to start with the positive 4 here. I'm back of the 4 to the back of the 5. And then I'm going to circle my 5 all the way to the front. All right, and that's just that strategy we learned yesterday. And then I can rewrite my numbers. So this first one is a -5, and the second one is a +4. And so let's see what that looks like reflected on a number line. So one of the big things that you need to remember is that no matter what, all number lines, you have to begin at 0. You're going to start at 0, because in this problem up here, in this problem we're looking at, we start with nothing, right? We have nothing, and then we're going to subtract 5 and add 4. Okay, that's what's happening. We're starting with nothing. So we need to start at the nothing line, which is 0, right? 0 is our neutral value, okay? So we are going to start at 0, all right? No matter what it looks like, we're always starting our number line at 0 when it comes to graphing integers on a number line, okay? And one of the other big things that you need to remember is that order matters, okay? Order matters. So you can clearly see that what's my first number? -5. So from that starting 0, I need to move -5 hops, okay? So not only are we moving to the negative side of the number line, but we are moving 5 hops, okay? So this represents hops. So I'm going to hop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, again, I moved to the negative side of the number line. You can see that by the way the arrow is pointing here on the end. And I moved 5 hops. Hop 1, hop 2, hop 3, hop 4, and hop 5. These are hops. All right, and then from that point, you can see I move up, and my number line, I'm moving the opposite direction. And the reason I'm moving the opposite direction is simply because now I'm moving in the positive direction. And again, that is 4 positive hops. So I'm starting at that point that I just landed on, and I'm going to hop 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, ending here on this -1, okay? And you can see we're ending here at -1. And -1 is going to be the solution, the answer to my problem up here. So this actually equals -1, okay? And that's kind of how we solve on a number line. So let's go practice on the inside of our notes, okay? So we're going to go on inside of our notes, open them up. So we have that same -5 and +3 this time, and I have my number line here at the bottom. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pen, and I'm going to circle from the back of the 3 to the back of the 5, and then I'm going to circle from the back of the 5 to the front, and I'm going to rewrite my numbers. So remember, this is a -5 hops, and this is a +3 hops. And where do we start? Well, we are going to start at 0, okay? So I'm going to draw my lines here, and I'm going to go ahead and mark that this is the positive side of my number line, and this is the negative, just to remind myself in case I've forgotten. All right, and so what is my first number? Because remember, order matters. So my first number is a -5 hops. So I'm going to hop -5, and I'm at 0, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I point my arrow in the negative direction, and again, that was 5 hops if I hopped it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, and then from there, I'm just gonna go on up, and then I'm gonna make my new line going toward the positive, and in my positive, I need to be moving +3 3 hops, okay? And so I'm going to hop 3 back. So I have 1, 2, and 3 for my line. My line got a little crooked there. Again, my arrow should be pointing towards the positive, and that should represent 3 hops. So 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. And then I'm just going to trace down and see, where did I stop? So you can see I trace down, and the solution to this problem should equal -2. Okay, and that is the solution to example number 1. All right. And then we're going to look at example number 2. Okay, example number 2. So I'm going to slide on up here. And in example number 2, I'm going to go ahead and do my circles. So I'm going to start at the back of the 7 and go all the way to the back of the 4. And then I'm going to go from the back of the 4 to the front. And I'm going to rewrite. So this is a -4 hops. And then remember, we have a good versus evil situation. And who wins? Evil wins. Right? And so I'm going to scratch out that positive and keep this as a -7 hops. Okay? So in order to graph this to find our solution, I'm going to start at my neutral value 0. And remember, order matters. So I'm going to hop 4 in the negative direction. A reminder, this is the negative side of the number line. And this is the positive side of the number line, okay? And so in this case, I have a -4 hops. So I'm going to start at 0 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, pointing towards the negative. And again, if I wanted to show my hops, there's hop 1, hop 2, hop 3, hop 4. And then I'm going to, tiptoe up so I get a second line. And my second number is also negative, so I'm still going to be going to the left. And in this case, I am going to go 7 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm actually going to go off my number line to -11 here. And again, if I needed hops, I could show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 hops there. And again, I traced down and I stopped at -11. So because I moved the same direction on the number line, I ended up with a larger negative. All right. So I have a -11 as my solution. All right, let's look at example number 3. So example number 3, I have 6 minus 10. 6 minus 10. Again, this is not a problem that looks like an integer problem, but I know that I can't take away $10 if I only have $6. So I know it's an integer problem just because of that. So I circle from the back of the 10 to the back of the 6, and the back of the 6 to the front. I rewrite my numbers. So this is going to be a +6 hops and a -10 hops, okay? So you can see my number lines are going to go in different directions because I have a positive and a negative. So they're going to go one way and then the other way, right? And so where do we start? Well, we start at our neutral value, which is 0. And so once I start at 0, I'm going to do my +6 hops. So this time positive is on the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Point my arrow towards the positive side of the number line. Again, if you wanted to see the hops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that really represents these spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 spaces down here. And then from there, I'm going to kind of tiptoe up a little bit and do my other number, which is -10 hops. So we're going to go in the opposite direction over here to the negative side, 10 hops. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Again, if you wanted the hops, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And again, all that is these hops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 10. Okay. And where did I end up? I'm going to trace it on down, and the solution to this will be -4. okay, equals -4. All right, and our last example, we're gonna do our circles. So I'm gonna grab and circle from the back of the 4 to the back of the 8, and then from the back of the 8 to the front. I rewrite, I have -8, and then in my second problem, I have 2 negatives or 2 subtractions, whatever you want to call them, they're the same thing. And we know that we call those evils, and when you have 2 evils, they are going to get together, become besties, and make a positive. Make a positive. And so we're going to turn this into a giant plus sign here. And when we rewrite, we have a +4. And remember, these are hops. So that's a +4 hops and a -8 hops. And we're going to start at our neutral value, 0. So where am I going to go first? I'm going to go to the negative first because that's the first number in the problem. So I'm going to grab and hop over -8 times. This is my negative side. So I'm going to start and hop all the way over to -8. And then again, that represents these 8 hops down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to tiptoe up a little bit. And we're going to go back the opposite direction to represent our +4. So going towards the positive side of my number line this time. Hopping back 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, that represents these hops right here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I trace my answer down, and I end up at -4. So the solution to this problem will be a -4. All right, and that is how we add and subtract on number lines, okay? Adding and subtracting on number lines. Okay, go and practice.